Big win for Big Blue out in the Emerald City as the Giants defeat the Seahawks 29-20 in Week 5 on Sunday for their second victory of the year. We're going to talk some Giants football, and we're going to do it with the fantastic host from WFAN. My good friend Danielle McCartan joins me now. Danielle, how's it going?
Good, Dex. 2 times in one day, and this is a much more optimistic and a much happier time. So glad to be back with you.
Yeah, definitely different vibes from what we talked earlier about the Jets. Much different vibes. So, Giants fans, I assume they're happy because there's plenty of good things to talk about with the Giants. And we should know that the Giants are out without wide receiver Malik Neighbors. They were without running back Devin Singletary in this one, but they saw players step up in their place. We saw Tyrone Tracy Jr. step up at running back. We saw Darius Slayton step up at wide receiver. They had big time performances. What did you make of the performances by both of those guys today, stepping up in those roles for the Giants?
I'm going to be really honest with you. When I saw Singletary and especially Neighbors were going to be out this week at a cross-country trip against a 3-1 Seattle team, I'm going to be really honest with you. I didn't give the Giants much of a chance to win this game. And you know what? I'm glad I didn't put any money on it today. I made no bets today because I would have lost all of them. But that said, this preseason season, some of the Giants writers that I had on my show on WFAN, I asked them, who should we, the Giants community, the sports community in New York, who should we keep an eye on offensively? And a few of them pointed to Tyrone Tracy. And I was like, okay, great. So he's been on my radar. He finally got his first start of his career today at the NFL level. Round 5, pick 166 overall for Joe Shane. I mean, this is a feather in his cap because it was almost like, hey, Saquon, who? I mean, Tracy had a fantastic game today. Only up from here. He said he was studying tape. They said on Tiki Barber, I think, was saying how he was studying tape and he felt he was too timid in the touches that he got in the games prior to today. He didn't look timid whatsoever at all today, motoring through defenders, reaching for extra yardage, and it's really exciting to watch for him. And that's a nod to Joe Shane for finding him so late in the draft. 18 carries for 129 yards, had himself a day. Then you look at, so did Darius Slayton. I mean, what a monster day for him. He scored too. He's showing everyone that he's still got it and being the reminder, being the conduit to everyone that Daniel Jones can still chuck the ball deep with accuracy because 71 of Slayton's yards came deep on each side between the hash mark and the sideline, where Jones is at the top of the league in his career. Stretch the field. I've been advocating for that for I don't know how long. The Giants were finally able to do it today. It was exciting to watch, and it looked really, really good.
Yeah, no, it looked really good. The Giants looked good offensively, and we talk about the Giants offense today, right? We can't not talk about Daniel Jones, who you just mentioned, 257 yards throwing, 2 touchdowns. The most important thing, I think you would agree with me, Danielle, no picks here, right? But no Malik Neighbors in this one, who I think we've noticed that's his favorite target, right? This is his favorite target. So what do you think him putting up this performance in Week 5 does not just for Jones, but also the rest of the Giants players, and knowing that he can spread the wealth around, other guys can get involved? What do you think this performance does for the Giants going forward?
Yeah, I mean, kicking the crutch right out from underneath Daniel Jones, that is Malik Neighbors. I mean, good. I was checking the internet. The Daniel Jones haters were quiet today, weren't they, Dexter? I
Mm.
mean, the pass game was so efficient. The Giants offense absolutely dominated the time of possession battle. It was like not even close. Go check it out. 37 minutes to like 20 whatever minutes. Daniel Jones posted a nice, neat quarterback rating of 109.6. And I was like, wow, that's kind of high. So I went back and I looked. It was the ninth best game of his entire career based on quarterback rating. And, now, okay, great. But now it's important to string a couple together now. Now go get the next one. Put up that kind of performance in the next one. And, I mean, again, Daniel Jones shut up the haters today. Now it's just time to make it 2 in a row. He was decisive in the pocket, whether he was, hitting his targets, deciding to take off and run, the quarterback draws that we're used to seeing. I mean, he was this close to scoring one too with his legs. I mean, Daniel Jones to me finally He went out there with a gigantic chip on his shoulder. He went out there with something to prove, and I'm going to call it the attitude era of Daniel Jones on the field, of course, not off the field. But I mean, just the result of it, from all of it, confidence all around, confidence in himself to be able to finally push the ball downfield with success, confidence in his offensive line to allow him to do so, confidence in the other guys to get involved and make a difference in a game. And I think moving forward, it's actually going to cause opposing defenses to pause and actually have to game plan for someone other than Malik Neighbors, which obviously bodes well for Giants and the offense. And not to mention, in the postgame, Darius Slayton complimented Coach Brian Daboll's play call on that touchdown catch. So an added bonus, I think, is confidence in the play caller, Coach Brian Daboll. It was a really well-played game against a good Seattle team, and I'm just really, really happy in the direction of this offense.
Yeah, you got to be happy about the direction you saw there, especially like you said, you could have been down on things coming into this week. No Neighbors, no Singletary. Giants still able to get it done and looking competent offensively. Got to talk to you about the defense, Danielle, because this week defense looked pretty good too. 7 sacks in the game for the Giants. What did you make of the Giants' defensive performance here in week 5?
When I was looking over the blueprint of this Giants defense prior to the season starting, I mean, obviously it had Wink Martindale's fingerprints all over it, no doubt. He's no longer there. But you had Dexter Lawrence roving all around, up and down, left and right, that defensive line today, which also helps. He in his postgame said the offense put some points up to help us. That is just the ultimate win for all 3 phases of the Giants. And I'm sure we'll talk about the special teams coming up. But, preseason, I knew the secondary was going to be the weakest level of this defense. Banks stepped up in a big way today after being called out by the coaching staff last week for his effort in the Cowboys game. But it's all complimentary, right? The Giants are generating pressure from the defense in front. 7 sacks, like you just said. I mean, and it was constant. And it was right in the face of Geno Smith for all 4 quarters. Not the first, not for half, first quarter, all 4 of them. And, of course, when that's working up out front, it obviously helps the back end of that defense as well. So, Banks, by the way, forced fumble. I mean, this as good as the offensive performance was today, the defense was like, hold my beer. Here's what we're going to do today. And it was just 2 really good phases of the defense and the offense of the Giants team.
Yeah, the offense well, too. And look, it's a good day, Danielle, when you can talk about how good the offense was, when you can talk about how good the defense was. And then you look at how the Giants were able to close this game out, which I could argue might be the most impressive thing that we saw on Sunday. Okay, so the Giants, they're up 3, 23-20. They block a field goal and return it. The field goal blocked by Isaiah Simmons. It was returned by Bryce Ford Wheaton. Didn't want to get his name wrong there. Had to make sure I give him the respect. He returns it 60 yards for the score. What did you think this kind of win, with the way they're able to close it out in that way, Danielle? What do you think they can do with that special teams closeout? What do you think it can do for this team going forward? Because just from talking to you, the vibes are much different than when we talked earlier about the Jets. So what do you think this kind of win in the fashion they want it can do for this Giants team as they move forward?
A lot of times, and I'm glad your line of questioning was offense, defense, special teams. I'm glad we're talking about all of it because it was a complete team win today for the Giants. And a lot of times people forget about the importance of special teams. And I know one school of thought was for Ford Wheaton to get down to the goal line and not punch it in, a la Ahmad Bradshaw in the Super Bowl. But you know what? I'm glad he didn't pull that page out of the Bradshaw book. He really took the life out of the building. He took the 12th man and sent him to the parking lot with that touchdown and made it a 2-possession game with, a minute left or so? I mean, that was the exclamation point to a really total team win for the Giants today. And I saw Isaiah Simmons told him before that play happened, he was like, I'm going to block this kick. Be ready to pick it up. And scoop and score he did. In a unit without Graham Gano, who is one of the best kickers in the league, no doubt. This is also complimentary, just within the special teams unit. It's the point preventing special teams unit, helping out the point scoring special teams unit. And to me, it's just a mark of great coaching and players developing because of it, developing right before our eyes because of it. And I'll conclude with this, and I'll ask this to you, Dexter. The Giants 2-3 record feels a lot better than the Jets 2-3 record, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. But see, that's the thing about vibes, right? Everything feels good coming off of a win as opposed to a loss. Well, the Jets also trending the wrong way, losing two in a row. So, yeah, it's very different conversations you and I have had today about each of these football teams. And to that point, Danielle, I think if you're a Giants fan, you feel pretty good about this heading into a Sunday night matchup host against the Bengals. Excuse me. They're out in Cincinnati against the Bengals next week. So it should be a good one. And we'll see. But like you said, Giants doing it all in all three phases of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. That is Danielle McCartan. Check her out on WFAN. She does a great job talking on the fan, but also breaking down football. She does here, whether it's the Jets or the Giants. Did the Giants here? So one happy video, one not so happy video, Danielle, but I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Yeah, such as New York sports. And the word of the day for the New York Giants: complimentary.
Complimentary. There you go. Thanks, Danielle. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Dexter.